Hey gang, how you doing? Jonathan here for Tailhunter Sportfishing, and it's time once again for the Mexican Minute, La Paz video fishing report, coming to you from La Paz, Baja, Mexico, and covering all of the fishing action for our Tailhunter Sportfishing fleet for the dates of the 28th of September through the 5th of October 2022. Almost there, almost through the rest of the season. We only have a few more weeks left, and you can tell the seasons are changing already. The winds are starting to come up. It's definitely gotten a little cooler. About 2 days ago, you walk outside, you could tell things are changing because the humidity dropped from about 80% to about 40%. I mean, everyone was talking about how it had gotten cooler. It got more comfortable. You didn't have that oppressive heat that we've had for about 3 or 4 months. So definitely things are changing, and once the winds start coming up, the complexion of the fishing is going to change. But until then, looks like we still had a really solid week of fishing. Again, just like last week I told you it was going to be a really boring fishing report. Well, kind of boring again. Not boring in a bad way, but boring simply because there wasn't much to tell you other than to say Dorado bit, and then we caught more Dorado, and then we caught more Dorado after that. The change this week was not only that we had cooler weather, we had great sunshine, but we still have a lot of Dorado. But on top of that, we had the big surprise. Tuna showed up. You know, tuna should have shown up back in May or so. We kept waiting and waiting. We had little flurries of them. Kept thinking, wow, the tuna bite has finally started. Well, nothing happened. We'd get 1 or 2 tuna, we'd get excited, and nothing. The tuna disappeared. Well, this week, we actually got into some nice sized, what we call tweener tuna. They're not the little footballs about this big, and they're not the big 40-plus pounders that hurt you. These were the fun size. You know, you still get a battle with them. They're going to pull hard. They're going to wear out your arms, but they're not going to kill you. So they were about the 25 to 30-pound size. Really nice grade of fish. They were a little further south than we normally go, but that's where we had to go to get these fish. It was a morning bite as well, so let me tell you, you had to get out there quick, you had to get out there before the sun got too high, and you had to get out there before all the boats came in, because this area is kind of like the Venn diagram intersection. Can't believe I said Venn diagram. I don't think I've said that since 4th grade, but where the intersection of the two fleets from our own area around Las Arenas and the Baja de los Muertos side, but also it was accessible to the boats from the East Cape. So they were coming up, our boats are coming up. So you wanted to get there before the traffic came in, drove the fish down. And once people start losing fish, especially tuna and in many cases Dorado, the fish are going to take off. So once the traffic got there, once all the action started coming in, you got boat motors going all over the place, you got guys throwing lures, you got bait all over the place, you got fish getting lost. The bite disappeared, so you had to get on it. It was good for about a half an hour, maybe an hour at the most, and then the tuna disappeared, and then you came back up north, fished around the Las Arenas, the Punta Arenas area, the Baja de los Muertos area, and you chased the Dorado, which have been very, very prevalent for about 2 months now. But the big difference this week was a lot of the Dorado were a lot bigger than normal. We had some 30, 40-pound fish, maybe even some larger ones that were lost, but looking at some of these photos, definitely some quality, big size bull Dorado were in the fish boxes this week. But a lot of that fun size, you know, the 15 to 20-pound size, great fun, colorful fish, very acrobatic. Everyone loves to catch them, so we had a really good bite on that once again this week. Now, if you wanted to compare our two fleets, many of you know we have 2 fishing fleets. One of them fishes the Las Arenas, Baja de los Muertos area, tongue-tied there, and the Cerralvo Island area. Our other fleet fishes straight out of La Paz and fishes around Espiritu Santo Island. Now, comparing the two, I would say there were probably more Dorado with our La Paz fleet. Not as big, but certainly a lot more. Easier to get the limits, but most of those fish are, I'd say, about 10 to 15 pounds with some larger ones mixed in. Over at Las Arenas, fewer fish, but they tended to be that 15 to 25, 30, and even 40-pound size. So you've got more fish on one side and you've got more quality on the other, plus the addition of maybe getting into some tuna. Plus, it was a really good week on billfish, maybe the best week we've had all season. We had marlin, striped marlin, blue marlin. We even had sailfish come up on the lines. Now, fishing's one thing, catching's another thing. We had a number of hookups this week. Not all the fish ended up next to the boat where they could be released or taken. Most of these fish that were caught were released, but a number of fish. Boy, talked to some of our fishermen this week. A couple of folks were on light line, and here's what happens is you're fishing the lighter line, 20, 25, 30-pound test on Dorado or maybe tuna. But in comes the big boy with the big mouth and the big bill, and he's chewing the bait. He's eating the smaller Dorado. He's chewing the bonito. He's chasing tuna. He's out for a meal. He grabs this little bait that you've got with a little hook and light line, and pretty soon it's what we call a Nantucket sleigh ride. You're off to the races. One of our guys fought a blue marlin for about 2 hours, got him to the boat. Bing! The line snapped. First time fisherman, first day fishing. He hooks about a 200-plus pound blue marlin. He's going to remember that fight for a very, very long time. He did get some Dorado later on in the trip, but he had that big blue marlin on first day, first outing. We also had another one of our very, very good amigos. He fought a sailfish, a larger than normal sailfish. I'm going to say 130, 140-pound fish. He fought this for 4 hours, and he was not going to hand the rod off. He did everything he could to get this to the boat, and he said every time he got it to the fish just sort of looked at the boat and took off with another 100 yards of line. But he hung on to this fish for 4 hours. Finally got it to the boat. They were going to try to release it, unable to do it. He was dead tired. The fish was tired. They couldn't revive it, so they brought it in, did donate a lot of the meat. But there are some epic battles taking place with some of these billfish. So the big three, Dorado, tuna, billfish. The hat trick is available, or I should say was available this past week. Mix in some Pargo, some Cabiria, some snapper, lots of big bonitas. So there's a lot of action this week. So a lot of happy fishermen. Great weather. Like I say, it's cooling off. Hopefully these tuna will stick around. Hope you stick around as well. Got a great fish gallery coming up right after I sign off. So take care of each other. Thank you very much. This is Jonathan for the Mexican Minute. And please, don't forget, do us a big favor. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, a like, and don't forget to subscribe. Take care of each other. God bless. We'll catch you next week.